Here's what you should know about your local housing market in this week's Market Update. We are just around the corner from Halloween, which is the first of the major fall and winter holidays, which typically lead off the transition into winter market. While the weather is not quite winter yet, the holidays typically pose a bit of a distraction for home buyers and sellers. We often see that begin the winter slowdown. So let's get into the stats this week, see if these factors are affecting the market, and if so, how. So this week we're looking at stats for Morristown, Chatham, Madison, Harding, Mars Plains, Mendham, Chester, Bernardsville, Basking Ridge, and Randolph. We saw 28 homes come on the market this week. That is a 28% decline from last week. We saw the most number of homes come on the market in Basking Ridge, and then in second place, Morristown and Mars Township. Out of these, 18 were single-family houses and 10 were condos or townhouses. So a rather large share of condos or townhouses in this mix, which isn't always the greatest news because a majority of the buyers out there in the market are looking for single-family houses. Average list price of homes that came on the market this past week was $1,478,155. That is only a 1% increase over last week. We saw the highest average list price this week in Bernardsville at $4,716,000. And that's actually one of those three homes that came on the market in Bernardsville came on the market for just under $10 million. So that is pushing that average list price way up in Bernardsville this week. Total inventory, we currently have 202 homes actively on the market in these towns. That is a 6% decline from last week. Total homes sold this past week. We saw 39 homes sell this past week. That is a 105% increase over last week. That's not a typo, not 5% increase, but a 105% increase over last week, where only 19 homes sold. Average list price of homes that sold this past week was $1,269,000. And the average sale price of homes that sold this past week was $1,300,000. This past week, we saw the highest average sale price in Harding, which was one home that sold at list price for $3,550,000. Now, the sale to list ratio, this past week, we saw homes in these towns sell for an average of 1.8% above list price. Now, very interesting to see how these are divided. This past week, we saw just 3 towns out of this mix with homes that sold below the list price. Probably not coincidental. These were the only towns out of these that do not have a train line other than Harding. So those were Mendham, Chester, and Randolph had homes sell below the list price. In Mendham, that was 12% below list price. Chester, that was 3% below list price. And Randolph, that was 2% below list price. The only other train town in this mix was Harding, where the homes sold at list price. Otherwise, all of the towns with train stations with direct trains into New York City, homes sold above list price, anywhere from 2.8% above list price in Basking Ridge, all the way up to 14% above list price in Chatham. So as we see some changes in the market, some shifts, do not be surprised to see historically a big divide between train towns and non-train towns. Average days on market for the homes that were sold this past week was 27 days on the market. That's a 5% increase over the prior week. And then under contract homes, while this data is incomplete because these homes have not yet sold, this is the most current data we can get in the market. And that is, we saw 24 homes go under contract this past week. That is a 41% decrease over last week. The highest number of homes under contract was Morristown and Township with 7. The rest we saw anywhere from 0 to 3. Average list price of the homes that went under contract this past week was $892,000. $564, so $893,000. That's a 14% decrease over the prior week. And then the median days on market of homes that went under contract this past week was 26 days on the market, and that is a 42% increase over the prior week. And we saw, if we break it down by town, we saw Chatham and Chester decrease their median days on market for homes that went under contract. All of the other towns, we saw an increase in days on market. So what are we seeing? Let's sum that up. We are still seeing light inventory becoming even lighter. While we do expect to see that seasonality where home sale activity decreases, home buyers don't expect that and sellers don't expect that to just mean less buyers in the market. Expect that to mean less inventory as well. So if you are in the market to buy or sell, if you are waiting till the spring, I do encourage you to start that home search early, whether it be to give yourself more time or to put yourself in a situation while there might be less options, there will likely be less competition as well. So I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll catch you guys again next week.